What up, boys? What up, boys?
What's up? What's up?
What's going down, Johnny?
I want to welcome everybody to this week's edition of the War Podcast.
The War Podcast.
War Podcast.
Kind of
You like that special
like a DJ.
little reverb? Little reverb.
What's going on out there, everybody?
Well, we know what ain't going down the gas prices.
Oh yeah, I mean we live in that American dream, man.
Heck
American
yeah.
dream.
Good.
Well,
At least I
here in
can
the state of
still afford
Florida,
beer.
there was a deal at the Circle K saying 30 cents off a gallon. All nation.
30 cents?
Yeah, that's what my brother put up. Corporate Circle K's.
Yeah, I'd like to check that out though, man, because it was between It was on Thursday between 4 and 7. That's like that movie, The Jerk.
When everybody's at work.
It's like that movie, The Jerk. You know, hey, yeah, you know, if I can't guess your weight, you can pick anything on this shelf. Well, not this shelf, but between the erasers and the pens. Well, actually, between the crayons and you know what I'm talking about.
Exactly what you're talking about.
I sure do miss Maven.
Yeah.
You miss what?
I sure do miss Maven.
Oh yeah.
Speaking about missing, we're missing somebody this week. The old Maynard is out of town. Little shout out to him and his family.
Emotional damage.
Oh, you ain't kidding. I'm hurting. But he's definitely. You know me, I won't bullshit for him, but he's actually got a decent excuse. He's visiting colleges with his daughter, who's a gymnast, and I believe they're in Andalusia. No, Tuscaloosa.
She is quite
Tuscaloosa
talented.
over there at the University of Alabama.
Alabama.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Girl got talent, that's for sure.
She's got more talent than we do, that's sure.
Yeah, if Maynard was here, he'd say,
Why you bullying me?
We couldn't get Cap Morgan to fill in this week. He's run the wells run dry.
He's empty.
Yeah, he's empty.
He ain't got nothing left.
Mike hasn't bought another bottle.
I was hoping to podcast on my birthday and get a bottle of Jack.
Yeah, don't worry. We gonna get you. We gonna get you. We ain't forgot about you.
Nope. But she out there chasing that dream.
Oh yeah, you know what? Because it's funny because this week's podcast we want to talk about to all the men out there listening to this. Y'all been lied to. Y'all being lied to.
Being lied to.
You know, and it's funny because we were having a conversation about this earlier this week. I was talking to you, Ray, on the phone. You know, we keep hearing this bullshit about purpose, right?
Yeah.
We live in this culture that all we keep hearing about is what's your purpose? Find your purpose. That's where you'll find your value and your meaning in your life. You know, and unfortunately, we've taken that to a whole nother level where everybody's purpose has got to be to be rich, famous. Influencing social media, you know, and if you're not doing those things, then your life just sucks.
Well, that's the thing. It's not about actually finding your purpose. It's about filling you full of bullshit that your purpose is much greater than it actually is. That's what I think it is.
Well, you know, it's funny.
Well spoken, Ray.
I like that, Ray, man. That was good, man. You've been working on that, huh?
It took me a hot minute to
It
figure
took a
that
while,
out.
man.
Put it all together.
I live with roaches. About 10 of them.
Don't
We
come
now
on, man.
close friends. Couldn't get rid of them. Let me see your feet. I'ma tickle them.
I'm gonna take a loan.
Why you gonna pull that up on Ray? Because you listen to trailer, man. What's up with that?
Hey, I live with
He's the
roaches.
king of his double wide.
He's king of that
man.
double wide, yeah.
That's
man.
right,
You've been riding him from one room to the next.
Got
right?
that right.
But no, that's really what it is. It's not, everybody does have a purpose. There is a purpose for you in life, but we're being fed a line of bullshit that you are to be this great influencer, or you're to be this multimillionaire, or your purpose is to drive this car.
Well, it's like you got a purpose, but it ain't good enough.
Right.
You know, like we always, it's this old adage, we always want what we don't have, right? People with straight hair want curly hair. People that are short want to be tall.
Yeah.
Skinny want to be fat. Fat want to be skinny. It just goes on and on and on, right?
Well, nowadays, people that are boys want to be girls, and people that are girls going to be boys. People,
Yeah.
you can do whatever the hell you want.
No kidding.
I mean,
That's why I
come
said
on.
this
no
mythical,
doubt, man.
this mythical purpose. I mean, if you're a guy and you want to be a girl, then that is quite mythical.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
it's
is
not real.
mythical. Yeah.
That's a fantasy in the making right there. Isn't it?
X and Y.
But the really, I guess where I want to go with this today is recognizing that yes, we all have a purpose
Yes.
to our lives. There's a reason why we're here. There's things for us to do. But why is it so looked down upon to say my purpose is to be a good father,
Yeah.
or my purpose is to be a good husband, or a good worker, or a great provider, or a good friend, or, a contributor to the community. I mean, why is it that our purpose has to be something that's grandioso to have any kind of meaning or value?
Right. And in the world, they're trying to measure your purpose with things that truly, ultimately in the big scheme of things, don't mean anything.
Well, we've kind of convoluted the word purpose and success, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We put them together like it's the same thing. And so what do we do as measurables for that? We look at, money, right?
Yeah.
Possessions, titles, and if you don't have these specific things in your life, you're not living a meaningful, purposeful life.
Right.
I mean, even we have influencers out there. There are a lot of great men's podcasts. I listen to a bunch of them, but even to some degree, it's like we get caught up in, okay, well, to be a real man, you got to be rich, ultra successful financially. You got to have beautiful women. You've got to have nice clothes and a nice car. And all those things are important. And yeah, you want to be successful in all the things that you do. You got to put forth the work, right? But for us to come up and be telling other men that, this is what a successful man is, and then yet because you don't have these things, or you're not doing these things, that means you're a failure, you're not a success, and the purpose of your life has no meaning and no value. And unfortunately, you know what that ends up doing, right?
What's that?
It causes the issues that we have in this country today, which is, depression, anxiety, and unfortunately for a lot of men, suicide.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they're not living a purposeful life. And they're not meeting the mark, or they're not measuring up.
Yeah, and before we get too far off topic or off track, or not off track, but past this, we're not calling anybody out. I mean, if you are successful,
that's awesome.
If you make good money and you live in a big house and have a boat and a nice car and all that,
yes, sir.
Awesome, dude. Good for you. That is freaking awesome.
Yep,
but,
you earned it.
And the funniest part though is that those people, they're not gonna poo-poo on you for not having that stuff, or even for trying to better yourself. Those people will encourage you. Most of the time, the people that are busting your balls are the people that don't have what you already have and see you trying for more. We're not trying to poo-poo on any of
Well,
that.
the statistics show that 100% of people want to be successful, but only 20% want to put in the work.
Right, yeah.
And so that's why 80% of people aren't ultra successful, or they don't measure up. Like you look at athletes or business people, or entrepreneurs, things like that.
It don't come easy.
It doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes a
Yeah.
lot of dedication, and a lot of people just aren't willing to put the work in to do that.
Right, yeah. Or make the sacrifices it requires.
Right, but not every man's purpose is to be wealthy.
Correct.
Not every man's purpose is to be famous.
Right, yep. Or an influencer.
And I think that's part of our issue, is that we have created these ideas that if we're not living a certain way, that there's no purpose to our life. And that's why we have so many people that are medicated in this country, that are taking medication for depression and anxiety because they don't feel like they measure up.
Yeah. Or that they're meaningless.
Well, yeah, their life is meaningless. It has no value. They're not living their full potential.
Well, they're not living the life that people are telling them they should live.
Yeah,
which is bullshit.
Well, think about it. I was just having this conversation with my daughter yesterday, and I said, back a long time ago when people, started to populate and started to come into this country, for instance, right? They would find a plot of land, and what would they do?
They'd claim it.
They claim it, they build a house, and then they'd farm it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd work from sun up to sundown farming for what? To eat, right?
Right, yeah, to survive.
So was there no purpose to that person's life? He wasn't living a purposeful, meaningful life because he was just a farmer that farmed for food to eat?
No, he's got purpose.
Yeah, he's a provider. He's a husband, right?
Yeah, father,
And
helping a neighbor.
And we lose sight of all that. Like all of a sudden, we've just got this culture where we think everybody's made to be great. Everybody deserves a trophy. Everybody is going to be rich. Everybody's going to be, influential. Everybody's going to be famous. And if you're not doing those things, then you're just not meeting the mark.
It's all a lie.
And it's a lie.
It's a big lie.
And we're chasing this lie. We have people, young dudes that are coming up behind us right now that are chasing this thing. Yeah. And, it's like, what is it? 1 in every 10 is going to make it, or 1 in every 100, one in every 1,000, one in every million. I don't know.
It ain't 1 in every 10. I can guarantee
Right.
you that. That's for sure.
The other part of it you were going to touch on, we were talking, is about the fact of, it not being handed to you.
Oh, yeah. It's not. I lost it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them things where everybody thinks they're entitled to it. It's an automatic.
Correct. Yeah, it's everything is earned. We touched on it a little bit with these guys who are, rich and have money, and there's a lot of sacrifice that comes with it. It's not just handed to you. And there are some people who do get money handed to them, but even at that, you got to keep it. You're not gonna, you hand me $10 million. If I don't know what to do with it in 10 years, I'm broke.
That's truth, Ray.
Well, not only that, you think about, you've got to continue to work, right?
Yeah.
It's like, take this podcast, for instance. We talked about this a while ago. In order to be ultra successful on this podcast, we have to have a huge social media presence, right? And we have to put out tons of content. And we sat here as a collective group and we realized that is not something all of us want to do.
Right. Yep.
I mean, just keeping it real. We sat down and said, you know what? I'm not into that. I don't want to be in front of a camera all day long. I don't want to be recording stuff all day long. I don't want to be creating content all day long. And quite honestly, social media is one of the things that
we frown upon.
And things we don't like in this group.
Right.
And so in order to be successful, like a lot of these influencers, you see, they're living, this is their life.
Yeah.
And people think, it's just easy. When you start looking at, they got a camera and they're living this life 24/7.
Yeah.
It's complete exposure and trying to chase that dream. Now, is that their purpose? I don't know. I don't know what each man's purpose is. But I do know that we do have an obligation as men to take care of what's ours.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that we were talking about the other day is that, when we started this conversation, like, for instance, there are people in this country that are so willing and to jump up, spend thousands of dollars to fly to a foreign country to go help out strangers.
Right.
Because it has more value to them than it does helping out their neighbors.
Well, and
they won't even talk to the person across the street, but they'll fly to Africa or Venezuela or go to Mexico.
Yeah.
And for us with like our faith, preaching the gospel, I mean, America is one of the most demonic countries in the world.
Yeah.
We got one of the most worldliest cultures there is. If there's any place in the world that needs Jesus, it's America.
Yeah.
And what do? We go to every other country in the world but our own. We don't even evangelize, or we don't even do missions in our own country.
Right. Right.
Because you know why? Because we don't get the feeling of doing something or impacting something. Like going to, like, it sounds cooler to say I went to Africa and told people about Jesus than does to say, well, I went to New York City or I went over to California or
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's like, I think I'm blessed enough to know that my purpose is helping people. That's what I do. I help people. I help my neighbors. I help my friends. I help, John, Fritz. I help anybody that needs a hand. I'll help a guy on the side of the road with a flat tire.
That's true. You do.
Now, there is absolutely no glory in that. You know what I mean? I'm not filming that. I'm not doing any of that crap. I'm just doing it because that's what I do. That's
who you are.
That's who I am, And like I said, there's no glory, not glory, but it's not like, oh man, this guy helped. Nobody's gonna know.
You got a people with 1,000 views or X amount of likes on it.
You see these guys, walking up to a homeless man and give him $100 and doing this and doing that, and they're filming the whole thing. Are you really doing that to help this guy, or are you doing that to get all these likes and get money? Because you gave him $100, you're going to make 1,000 off of it,
right?
And if that's the case, that's not your purpose, man. Helping that guy's not your purpose,
right?
Don't use these people to make you wealthy, to get all your likes, to make you feel good about yourself.
We're not using anybody. We'd appreciate you spreading the word about what we're saying.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because, we do this out of the kindness of our heart. And we do appreciate the folks that do look at the videos.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting more and more views, and it's great. We appreciate it.
Well, and the other thing is, again, recognizing your true purpose. We know that this is one of our purposes in our lives, is that we want to help other dudes, right? And so this is why we do this, you know. But I was just thinking about it the other day, you know, it's a sad state of affairs when you got a guy that's busting his ass every day to support his family. He goes to a job maybe he's not 100% on, or he doesn't really like it or whatever, but he does it because it's about selflessness and sacrifice. He comes home to his wife and his kids, and you know, maybe he can't afford to do certain things, but they're living. They got the love in the house and they're spending time together. And we've just painted this picture that tells that guy, well, your life has no purpose.
Well, you know what's worse?
It's meaningless because you're not doing or living your best life, or you're not doing this, or you're not making this, or it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.
And what's worse than that is that guy that's doing all that stuff, and there is the love in the house, but then he feels that he has no purpose, he has no value, he has no meaning. And then that's when the anxiety, and that's when the suicide, and that's when all this stuff kicks in and ends up happening, all over a bullshit lie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's another lie that we get told, right, for men, right? Happy wife, happy life. Bull to the shit. You know, I mean, the problem is that we got women that would rather you lie to them and make them feel good than to tell them the truth in order to. Let me give you an example of something. I've shared this before in the podcast. You know, we went to a party one night. My wife was wearing something that I wasn't a big fan of, right? And I tried to tell my wife nicely a bunch of times, that doesn't look good on you. It's not flattering. You know, it's too big for you, whatever. Well, this went on for quite some time, and she kept on saying, well, I like it, okay, blah, blah, blah. And finally I just said, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. It makes you look big. I mean, she was like, I don't think so. I'm like, it does. It makes you look like you're like 300 pounds because it flailed out so much at the bottom. It was just so big on her. And I'm like, and you're not a big woman, so
right.
Why are you wearing this unflattering? It doesn't look good on you. Well, she decides that she's going to wear it anyway. She goes to the party, and she goes there and tells people what I said. Leaves out the 16 other times where I was being polite about it. But,
right.
you know, well, John said to me tonight, he
You're
told
the
me
bad guy.
I look like I was 300 pounds in this dress, you know, and it's like,
no, you look fine.
The women in that room, let's just say there was 10. 8 of them said that they would rather their husband lie to protect their feelings than to tell the truth to save them embarrassment. You see, the way
sad.
It's the sad state of affairs when we have to lie to somebody to make them feel good, and they would rather accept the lie than the truth because maybe it makes them feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we get this lie that we've been told that, you know, happy wife, happy life. So what do guys do? They lie.
Yeah. They
tell their wife whatever they want to hear, and they bullshit and just whatever. And you know, I'm the different kind of dude, because to me, for me to let my wife go out in the public looking something that is not, you know, appealing, or it makes her look in a bad light, that's not a good husband.
Right.
You know, it's like I'm not wearing a half shirt and a pair of skinny jeans. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. And number one, I'm not doing that because I'm self-aware.
Yeah.
And number two, my wife would never let me leave the house looking like that because she wouldn't want me to look stupid, right?
Right. Yeah.
And I respect that.
Yeah.
You know?
But again, then again, if you had already made up your mind that you were going to wear it, no matter what she said, why do they ask to begin with?
Well, Ray's got a term for that. That's
what's your opinion matter?
That's called being an asshole.
What's the definition of that?
The redneck definition of asshole is I'm gonna ask your opinion and, you know, your wisdom, and then I'm gonna go do whatever the hell I want to do anyways.
Yeah. Or I've already made my mind up before I even asked you. Right?
Yeah, that's an asshole.
Yeah. And you know, that's the problem. We buy into this lie.
Yeah.
That we have to just say whatever, do whatever to make her feel good about herself. And that's not love. That is not respecting your spouse.
No.
Now, yeah, she got a little upset with me when I first said it. We talked it out, and she, you know, at the end, she kind of laughed about it, and she bagged me out in the party just to bust my chops, get a little even, I guess, because I got my ass chewed by about eight to 9 women. But at the end of the day, what I learned in that moment, though, is that some people would rather hear a lie than hear the truth.
Yeah.
In order to save face, to save feelings. And we're living in a lie. You know, men have bought into this lie that, you know, it's all about making your wife happy. Well, I got news for you. A relationship is two people. If you're focused on just making your wife happy, you are creating a ungrateful, spoiled spouse.
Yeah. You're setting yourself up for failure.
You're never going to make her happy because the first time you got to tell her no,
Yeah.
all hell is going to break loose.
Yep.
So, you know,
It's the same thing with your kids.
yeah, I mean, it's the same exact premise with a child. I mean,
Yeah.
you're spoiling them. And so we buy into this lie. We've been lied to that, you know, to be a good husband, you just have to make your wife happy. That's not true.
I saw that you're never going to make a woman happy. You know, when she's born, God gives her blonde hair, she dyes it red. You know, God gives her, you know, a nice set of breasts. You want them bigger or smaller?
Yeah, she gets a reduction.
You know, God, you know, they're constantly changing themselves. And this isn't a woman bashing session.
No, but the reality of it is, though, is
you're never going to make her happy.
Yeah,
you're
I mean,
not enough.
And if that's all you're trying to do is make her happy, you're losing sight of yourself. And sooner or later, resentment's going to set in. You're going to be in a place of feeling like you're not appreciated.
Guarantee it.
Taken advantage of. I mean, just be honest and be true to yourself and be true to the person that you're with. You know, that's one of the lies we keep buying into.
Both ways.
Yeah.
Ways. Relationships are 100-100. Divorce is 50-50.
Yeah.
Relationships are 100-100.
Well, unfortunately now, though, Ray, statistics are showing that 80% of divorce are instituted by or what's the word I'm looking for? Are actually the woman is actually seeking the
Initiated?
divorce. Initiated by the woman, though.
Yeah. That's still, I mean, but it still holds true. Relationships are 100-100.
Because they're buying into the lie, too.
They are.
You know, I mean.
And that's the thing is, if you're counting on another person to make you happy and to keep you happy, you're not going to be happy. If
I
that's
think a
what you're
lot of
seeking.
studies have shown, I'm sorry, Ray, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but a lot of studies have shown that women get divorced emotionally way before it actually takes place.
Yeah.
So that's why they can deal with it. They can just say later. And then men don't know what hit them.
Well, and then if you got a husband that's sold out and he's living this, you know, happy wife, happy life mentality, and he's sacrificing everything and doing everything that he can to provide and busting his ass, and meanwhile, she's all about herself, then he gets devastated because he's already sold out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And rather than just hold the line and be honest and truthful, like I always use the example of the 6-month lie. Don't ever live the 6-month lie when you're dating somebody. Be true to who you are and tell them what you're about and what you like and don't like and the things you will and won't do, you know?
Right.
And
right at the get.
We start off lying and we continue to lie, and then when you wake up one day and you know what? The lie ain't working anymore.
Nope. You're tired of lying. You're tired of living a fake life.
Yeah.
I told my wife when we were dating and all that, I brought her to see my parents and stuff, and I said, baby, I want you to take a look at that man right there. It's my dad. I said, look at that man. Watch everything he does. Listen to everything he says and how he acts and all of that. I said, because that's what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to bullshit you. I've tried fighting that. It's just too stuck in my DNA. That's what you're going to get into.
Listen, at the end of the day, being lied to. You know, purpose, meaning, value, all those things, they differ for each person. And we can't use other people and other circumstances and other situations to be a measuring stick for what our purpose and our value is. We're all different. And what we bring to the table as individuals is what makes us an individual. That's what makes us who we are. I can't come in here and try to be like Freddie. I can't try to be like Ray. I can't try to be like Mike. I'm John. That's who I am. And you may have the same values as somebody. Maybe you've got the same type of sense of humor, the same like in music or wardrobe, whatever it may be. But you're still a different, unique individual. Everybody is unique in their own way. And we keep chasing this bullshit that the world keeps feeding us. These lies that we keep buying into. And we're killing ourselves as men trying to keep up with them. And meanwhile, while this is going on, men are dying. There's an old saying, we brought it up on this podcast before, men die quietly. We know that by the statistics, 76% of suicides are men. Guys are out there internalizing. They feel like they've got nowhere to go, nowhere to turn. And it's because they feel like they've got no purpose, no meaning, and no value to their lives because they're not making a certain amount of money. They don't have a certain amount of likes. They don't have X amount of followers. They're not living in a certain house. They're not driving a certain car. They're not providing certain things. You know, I ran into a guy this last week at a lake, and he was out there with his wife and his 2 kids. And we were talking for a minute, young dude, he's in his early 30s. And I said, man, you guys are our hope. It's on you. You guys have got to step up. We need you as young men to step up. And he said, you know, I'm trying. He goes, it's a struggle. It's a battle. He goes, you know, I'm raising my family in a trailer. I said, you know what though? You're there. You're doing it. Don't lose sight of that. Don't lose the value in that. Just being present. You know, we have so many men that don't think there's any value in that. Keep fighting. Keep doing the things that you're doing, providing, struggling, being selfless, putting your wife and your children first, doing what you need to do to take care of and provide for your families. That's what your true purpose is as a man. But also, and even in the midst of all that, don't lose who you are and lose yourself. You do deserve to be respected. You deserve to be loved and appreciated. And you know what? If you're not with somebody or around people that don't do those things, it's time to move on. It's time to start over. And that's okay. Not all of us are going to have this idea of what the world tells us success is. We may not have the big houses and the nice cars and the deep pockets and the big bank accounts and all the business ventures. But we do have the most important thing, and that's ourself, because that's the most valuable thing that you can offer anyone. And when you get that, my friends, well, hell, that's where the rubber meets the road.